There's a great scene in the movie The American President with Michael J. Fox and Michael Douglas playing the president. And Fox's character is going after him, saying the American people are thirsty for leadership, and they're so thirsty for it, they'll crawl through the desert towards a mirage, and when they realize there's no water, they'll drink the sand. The same, I think, could be said for keyboard enthusiasts. We're so thirsty for any company to cater to us with new devices in 2022 that will crawl through the desert towards the mirage. And when we realize the BlackBerry experience, and I think the keyboard experience that we knew and loved is long gone, the question for me becomes, will you drink the sand? We'll talk about it today on this edition of Steve-alicious Tech. I don't want to, with the intro, make it sound worse than it is. When we're going to talk about this device, the Unihertz Titan Slim, we're going to talk about it from a few different angles because there's a lot of things at play here. Number one is the people who just want to use it as a phone. Number two are the people who are BlackBerry enthusiasts who are looking at this as any sort of shining light, anything off in the distance that would help us recapture some of that feeling of using a BlackBerry. And number three is the people that just want a physical keyboard experience. It doesn't matter what it's attached to. So we're going to try to cover as much of that as possible. As you're watching this, it's available for pre-order on Kickstarter. I think it's 8 a.m. Eastern Standard or Daylight Time, whatever time that we're in, for as long as we're in it before they change or tell us we don't have to change the clocks anymore. But May 10th, 8 a.m. if you're on the eastern seaboard of the United States. This is available right now on Kickstarter. And if you do want one, I do suggest going on there immediately. I'm going to release this video a little before that, but if you're interested in one, they usually go fast. At least the decent early bird deals go quickly, so you definitely want to get on that. I will say, under $300 is where the conversation is going to be for this video. I don't know the final price. With deals, I would imagine it's going to be well under $300. I hope so. Anything over $300, and we're not even having a conversation right now, quite honestly. Anything over $300, and you're fooling yourself. So that's going to be a bit when we talk about the Android user experience. But there is one thing in regards to the Kickstarter that I do want to mention right off the bat, and that is, whatever it happens to be, if it comes with it, then you're set. If it's an extra tier, then do yourself a favor and get that tier. Whatever you do, make sure that you're getting your Unihertz Titan device, as I put the case on backwards, with a case. Seriously. Make sure that your Unihertz Titan package comes with a case, because you're going to want that. Because when I did the typing comparison video the other day, and I was talking about how you had to grip it a certain way in order to make it comfortable, the case changes the typing experience exponentially. It makes it that much better, because the keys and the keyboard itself were already pretty good, but the form factor didn't make for a great typing experience, but the case fixes that. And I just got a comment, literally 30 seconds before I went on the air, about asking what's the typing experience to the Key 2, because they were okay with the Key 2 and they held the device differently with their Key 2 than they did what I was doing with the Titan Slim. And I will say this, the Key 2 is wider and it's lighter, but the other advantage the Key 2 has is that it had this kind of texture on the back of it. It had that rubberized or that faux rubberized material that made it easier to grip. So while the case also gives you a little bit more width here for your hands to make it a little bit easier, it also provides grip to the device because it is a hefty device, and as it is, without a case, it's quite slippery. So the added grip means that you need less grip pressure. You feel less the need to really have your hands in there in order to support it. It's an overall good thing, and it is quite a thick case. I don't know, it's really tough to see in there, but you can see it is quite a thick case. And somebody in the keyboard comparison video was talking to me saying, wow, we're talking about awful big deal from millimeters here. Well, what are we talking about? We're not talking about feet or inches with devices like that. We're talking in millimeters. And it does make that big of a difference to the typing experience to have that 1 or 2 or 3 millimeters on either side, a little bit extra room for your hands. It certainly makes a difference. So if you are someone, my BlackBerry following, my people, understand what you're getting. All right, this is not a BlackBerry. It'll never be a BlackBerry. We could sit here all day long and compare the keyboard and the typing experience, and that's fine. But BlackBerry was more than the keyboard alone. And I don't need to tell anybody that. I may need to remind some people of that, but I don't have to tell you what you already know. This is not a BlackBerry experience on the software end. It's not going to be anywhere near as secure as a BlackBerry, which when you think of BlackBerry, when you get down to it, what was the soul of why you loved the BlackBerry? Security had to be in the top one or two things. Not even going to be close here. If you get one software update, we're lucky. With the Titan Pocket, we're still running on the December security patch, which actually for Unihertz is quite good. The regular OG Titan, as people refer it to, didn't get updated for forever. In fact, I don't even think they were going to update it again until they realized they were coming out with the Titan Pocket and said, oh, maybe it's a good idea that we go ahead and update it. And I'm hoping that maybe a Titan Pocket gets an update when this releases. They say, well, we'll go back and update the other one, the old one, for a little bit before we go ahead and release this one. So I think that's something that you have to keep in mind. It is not a BlackBerry. That's just period ended. Don't go into it thinking it's that. It is an Android device. It is a not great Android device with a keyboard. So if you're that third category of person that we talked about that doesn't care about anything else, you just want a keyboard on a phone in 2022, well, it's a decent one. It's a decent one. It's pretty good. Once you put the case on it, I actually liked it. I think the keys are the best. I think it absolutely compares. It's a better keyboard than the Key 2 was. The Key 2 LE is a little bit more of a conversation, but it's a heck of a lot more solid. When you're going for the space bar and all the keys have similar presses, which is nice, which you didn't get on your Key 2. That space bar was a mess. It felt like it was going to fall off. You're not going to have that experience with the Unihertz Titan Slim. So I think it's a better typing experience once you put the case on than your Key 2. So if you don't care about software, if you don't care about updates, if you weren't caring about the soul of a BlackBerry, then this will get you by. But as far as an Android phone, if you're looking at this, for $300 or sub $300 or $250, if you don't really care a whole heck of a lot, if you could take it or leave it with the keyboard, which is weird. We're not really talking to those people, but I just want to put this out here anyway. This is a not good Android phone. There are plenty of better Android experiences for $280, $300, to even $250. Plenty better experiences than this. But the idea of a niche product is it's not supposed to appeal to everybody. That's the definition, right? It's supposed to have its user base. And I don't want to conflate the BlackBerry user base with just the physical keyboard user base, because I think the BlackBerry user base is going to be disappointed using this, whereas just the keyboard user base might actually be pleased using this, believe it or not. And if you're one of those true believers, if you're a diehard, then wait towards the end of the video because we're going to have some good things to say. The battery's good, all right? You could easily get 7+ hours of screen on time. If you loved your Titan Pocket and you just wished it were taller or had more screen area, then this is certainly a device for you, even though we might do a full comparison at the end of the week, but I still prefer the Titan Pocket over the Titan Slim. I feel like going narrower on the display was a goofy decision for a bunch of different reasons. It still takes all the issues that the Key 2 had and exasperates. You went from already being borderline having compatibility issues with your Key 2 screen as it was, and they say, oh, well, we're going to make it even narrower than that, which I think is bizarre. There are a bunch of different design qualities here that were weird. I can accept this device and understand that it has a limited following, but I've seen other and better offerings from Unihertz. The Titan Pocket had a distinct Unihertz look and feel, that kind of industrial design that they went with. And why they went away from that for something that absolutely feels cheap. Absolutely, when we've talked so much on this channel about good plastic and bad plastic. This is cheap. This is cheap. It's heavy and it's thick and it feels kind of pasted together. And with the exception of the keyboard, which I guess is the most important part, it falls short in pretty much every category that you'd want with the exception of battery life. The screen is not even a particularly good LCD, and I don't care if it's 720p. The performance is not particularly that good. In fact, it might be that it's pushing a smaller display, but my Titan Pocket performs better than this does. That pre-release software, so I didn't want to get too much into capabilities with this phone, because granted, you're on pre-release software. But at the end of the day, if you had everything up, if you're somebody, the fingerprint sensor is quite nice. It works quite well. If you're somebody who is just set on having a keyboard device in 2022 and you don't care about security updates, you don't care about the experience, you don't care about being nerfed on Android, you want a slightly better you were coming from a BlackBerry Classic or something like that. You didn't even use all the features. You're coming from a Titan Pocket, or perhaps an OG Titan, and you just want something that's slightly better for slightly newer, still running Android 11, that can do social media slightly better, maybe a better screen, a more acceptable screen for watching YouTube or Twitch or something like that, well, then this is going to be your device. And that's fine. But if you're anybody else, this becomes a very, 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 very hard sell. And that is disappointing because there was a lot to look forward to here. There was an excitement here when I saw this. I'm not a fan of the Key 2 design, so perhaps you want to take my opinion with a grain of salt. But I think that there were so many better options, especially when you're going for something that is this thick, that's not particularly powerful, that doesn't have a lot of premium components, that if you're doing that anyway, you're not providing a mid-tier or flagship performance or design or any of that. I think you could have taken a bigger swing or at least kept with the industrial design that you already had. That you had established. This was an undeniably Unihertz device. You could see it a mile away and know it's a Unihertz device. I felt they should have leaned into that as opposed to go to what just is going to come off as just an awful copy of a Key 2, a device that I don't think was that good to begin with, and you're making a copy of a copy, and anyone who's seen the Michael Keaton vehicle Multiplicity knows what happens when you make a copy of a copy. Just doesn't seem like something that you'd want to invest more than a couple $100 in, and I want you to go in with your eyes open and know that it's not a great performer. It's okay. It's not the worst in the world. It gets good battery life. The 6 gigs of RAM is nice. It has decent storage. It'll have 256, I think, when it's released, which will be good. The screen is perfectly legible. It is taller than the Titan Pocket, so if you wanted that little extra space for emails or texts or WhatsApp or something, you want to type on that, you can get that. It's not nearly as big as I thought. It's as thick as I thought, and it's as heavy as I thought, but you put it next to a S22 Ultra, and it's still kind of dwarfed. So in the hand and in the pocket, it's not going to be overly bulky. So that's a plus as well. There are some things to like about it. And if you're just a keyboard enthusiast, the keyboard is going to be good. It's going to be good for you. But I want you to go in with your eyes open and know you're buying essentially a $200 low-end Android device. And the only reason why you're even considering something like this is because it's got keys on it. That's it. And if you know that, then enjoy. And for all those people who might think it's a negative video, and it's a long one, I know, but this was a long-awaited device. Anyone who thinks it might be negative or something like that, if you ask me, are we going to pick one up for the channel? Am I going to be in the pre-order? Yeah. Absolutely. Because it's fun. It's fun. There's a reason why we like physical keyboard devices. But while I can buy one, I can like physical keyboard devices, I could also be critical, and I could support Unihertz, okay, because I think we should support them because it's nice that there's somebody paying attention to keyboard users, but I can also be critical because I've seen them do better work. I know they're capable of doing better work, and I think in the future we should see better work than we saw with the Unihertz Titan Slim. All right, let me know what you think below. Special thanks to Tech Odyssey again. This is Adams for sending this along for us to even take a look at it. I really appreciate that. Long Island Watch channel sponsor. Link will be in the description. We appreciate them as well. If you've made it this far, like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Until next time, have that Steve-licious day.